Hey everybody, I've got a good post for you today. Apologies for something of a hiatus with posting lately. Again, it's kind of projects going on with the prototype, the energy prototype, content for the the social media stuff for level one communities and incubator. I'm also working on a Substack from my own personal writing, and then obviously these blog posts, and then I do contract work on the side. It's been nuts. I even started applying for normal, regular, product manager, senior product manager jobs. But having worked for myself most of my life, not having corporate experience, I think I'm running into some resistance there. That said, we'll see what happens. It seems like every week we're closer, or just another week more for some progress on the energy tech. Um, it's not that it's essentially I'm missing some components. So I was promised some stuff to come in and it hasn't come in yet. So that's where we're at with that. But as soon as I get the parts of seeing working versions of this, I think I can get it running. And plus, through the Zero Point Energy Project group, I've got some really good support, electrical engineers, people like that. Um, Well, anyways, either way, we're gonna figure out whether this thing's gonna float or not pretty soon. So I've pretty much went all in on it. So so we'll see how it goes. For now, I was inspired by a post that I saw on social media. This was shared with me by my girlfriend, Carrie, and I'm gonna share it with you now. I'm just going to share my screen and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this post right here on Instagram, this is a medical doctor, and her husband are both medical doctors. And so she posted this, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. She asked Chat GPT this question. If you were evil and wanted to give people chronic illness, what would you do? And Chat GPT proceeded to respond. Encourage people to stay indoors, avoid sunlight, surround themselves with artificial environments. So, reading this, just think about your day-to-day life. Think about the whole COVID shutdowns and what we've been learning behind the origins of COVID. So, it seems that perhaps what we're experiencing in life isn't an accident. Maybe, I don't know. Let's keep reading here. Poison the food supply, fill the grocery stores with ultra-processed, chemically laden, nutrient depleted foods. We'll just go to any grocery store now. If you care much at all about politics, maybe you've heard about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the research he's done on that. Seed oils, artificial sweeteners. How many people do you know that are diabetic, pre-diabetic? And how does that compare to your parents' generation? Just some questions. Poison the water and air. Well, let's fill. This is again Chat GPT's response to this question, right? This super artificial intelligence computer that you know came up with these answers. And then just consider your daily life, right? Water contains heavy metals, chlorine, keep the air thick with pollutants, synthetic fragrances, reducing oxygenation. I think everybody's in agreement that chemtrails aren't conspiracy theory anymore. At least I hope. I hope most people are getting there and have seen actual footage of these things dumping crap that's been documented as geoengineering and contains aluminum and, gosh, three or four other toxic metals to humans. So normalize chronic stress. Once again, right, getting out of the rat race. Here I am considering applying for a regular corporate job. And this is really why I'm trying to not really do that, because that's what it is. You're just jumping into the treadmill again, or the little wheel that just keeps on spinning, and it's got to hurry up and get the next thing done. Got to hurry up and get the next thing done. We're taken away from our kids. I don't have kids, but my neighbor's kids, right? Dad's working, mom's working. It used to be maybe just one parent needed to have a full-time job. So I can keep going on and on, but she actually did a really good job with this and really asking a computer for what it would do. Computer that's, known for assessing problems at a high level. And those were the solutions or the results. So this reminded me of a few things. And before I get to the book I want to share with you on this post, I want to talk about how some people might think this, this was actually engineered on purpose. That's a conspiracy theory. What are you nuts? Like that's what happened with the whole conversation about chemtrails. That was a conspiracy theory. Now it's not a conspiracy theory. So that reminds me of a quote by Elon Musk, right, where he said, "We're running out of conspiracy theories." This was posted on X a while back, running out of the conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. So if they're proven to be true, well, they're not conspiracy theories anymore, right? But it's kind of a joke when you have someone like this and people like this tracking a whole bunch of conspiracy theories that are later validated as true, meaning the premise behind this theory is proven accurate. It's factually based in reality. That's when it's no longer a conspiracy theory, is it? But why are so many conspiracy theories or how so many things being generated as conspiracy theories? Like what is that all about? Well, I'll get to my assessment to that here in a minute. But here's my search engine search on Google for just that quote by Elon Musk. I did a search. I said, running out of conspiracy theories. I knew that's something that Elon Musk had said. I just wanted to get the post where he said it. It wasn't even in the first page, not even in the first page, that post on X. But what is on the first page on Google, which I believe that Google shadow bans search results and has a bias on what information it provides. And I'll back this up here in a minute. But this is what it essentially it goes straight to the psychological or APA, why people believe in conspiracy theories, PBS, which is a source of information that's funded by government with perhaps a slant. Let's see here, this one. Are conspiracy theories a sign of flawed cognition? Again, this is a quote by Musk. Nowhere is his quote linked here. There is Musk being reported of boosting another conspiracy theory here by NBC News. That's the only mention of Musk. But their search engine knows that Musk said that, but nowhere in here is his search result. So a friend of mine that works for, the government, let's say, he said that he doesn't really use Google for that reason. He recommended I use a Russian search engine. It doesn't have these issues. It doesn't shadow ban crap. Isn't trying to present information in a certain way. He uses Yandex. Never heard of Yandex before. Got on Yandex. Put the same search result on Yandex. There is Elon Musk's quote at the very top. So do with that what you will. Do any search you think may be controversial or perhaps maybe controlled or monitored. Do a search on Yandex and compare it to Google. I'd be very curious to see what you discover. Again, there's a quote by Elon Musk. So finally, I'll wrap this up. I'm trying to keep a lot of these posts a little shorter because I want to do more. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg on this topic. I could go on and on with this. But what this doctor's post reminded me of, because she's alluding to some sort of programming, it reminded me of this man called Milton William Cooper. So he's American. He was a Navy, a retired Navy, and he's also labeled a conspiracy theorist in this biography. And he essentially was in the military. He wrote a book, controversial book, Behold the Pale Horse, which I have a copy of. And this book details his experiences, first account experiences with UFOs, and with other documents in the Navy detailing conspiracy theories that the government was complicit in. And I'm going to show you some excerpts of the book next. Oh, and yeah, actually, yeah, I'll do that next, and then I'll wrap it up with something else. So here's his book, and I highlighted the sections I think are interesting. I'll have a link to this on our incubator. website, our website as well for level one communities, along with a couple other things for you folks that are interested in. And again, I do this all right now pro bono. I'm hoping that we'll start getting more and more donations to the community website. But again, I'll have this up there shortly. So this is his account of seeing a huge disk rise from beneath the ocean. He was on a ship, a Navy ship, water streaming from the air around it, tumble lazily on its axis, and disappear into the clouds. So there's his first person account. Then he saw it again. This time I saw it with my naked eyes. And he said, and its size in comparison with the total view was nothing short of astounding. And here it is. The giant saucer plunged out of the clouds, tumbled and pushed the water before it opened up a hole in the ocean and disappeared from view. Right. So this happens. They call the captain. The captain doesn't know what to do about it. And then finally the captain asks him, "Hey, what did you see out there?" Right? "What did you see out there?" And Cooper answers, "I believe it was a flying saucer." And the man screams at him, threatens him. Just, I've heard this story from other people, particularly in the Coast Guard. They're seeing stuff like this. And so the guy says, "Let's start over." He said, "What did you see out there?" And he said, "Nothing, sir. I didn't see a damn thing." And the man smiled and says, "That's a good boy," pats him on the head. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to share with you guys was some of the documentation that Cooper ran across while working with the government. And so he was given some clearance in the Navy. Let's see, he was given top secret queues, sensitive compartmentalized information access, and through the Navy and through this work, this is one of the things he ran across. One day, I learned that the Office of Naval Intelligence had participated in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and that it was the Secret Service agent driving the limo that shot Kennedy in the head. And so that's when he went AWOL. And then he was convinced to return. One of his friends got him to return, and he did. And then there was attempts made on his life later when people were within the government, realizing he's wanting to disclose additional information and so on. So he eventually backs off, but then as the years go by, he decides he's going to eventually write this book. And when he writes this book, after a certain amount of time, he's collected a lot more information. And so one of the things he collected, one of the things that made this book super interesting for me, among many things, is a document titled Silent Weapons. And this is the document right here. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, an introductory programming manual, operations research. So this is a document that was given to him by someone else. It just gave it to him, as sort of just dropped it to him. It was a copy found. Let's see. Is a doctrine adopted by the policy committee of the Bilderberg Group during its first known meeting in 1954. This is part of the Bilderberg Group and what he labels the Illuminati. So I don't know a lot about these secret organizations other than what you hear in the mainstream, right, or movies, but that's what he called it. He himself was part of a secret organization, which he says is why he was given so much access in the military to certain information. So he calls it Illuminati's Declaration of War upon the American people. These are his notes. The rest of it is the actual document that was given to him, apparently labeled top secret. And this is the actual document, okay, that was generated for people within the Bilderberg Group, or for people within the Bilderberg Group, and this is in the 1950s. And the intent of the document is clear. It's obviously spelled out. So again, going back to our friend, the doctor, right? And she just does an innocent search on Chat GPT about, well, if you were evil and you wanted to give people chronic disease, what would you do? And it pretty much outlines our daily lives here in Western America, in Western civilization, right? And then going back to this book, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. It's an introductory programming manual, operations research. Okay. So here it says, it's patently impossible to discuss social engineering or the automation of a society, okay, on a national or worldwide scale without implying extensive objectives of social control and destruction of human life, slavery, and genocide. This manual is an analog declaration of intent. Such a writing must be secured from public scrutiny, otherwise will be recognized as a technically formal declaration of domestic war. So there it is. It's literally telling you, it's spelling it out. It says, this is why we wrote this book. And then it goes into more detail for the rationale behind it. Okay. It says why the people this book was written for, why they got it. You have qualified for this project because of your ability to look at human society with cold objectivity, yet analyze and discuss your observations and conclusions with others of similar intellectual capacity without a loss of discretion or humility. Such virtues are exercised in your best interest. Do not deviate from them. So the capitalizations, those are all the author's notes of emphasis. So that's what he did. So he capitalized all that stuff. So moving on from here, I'm going to go ahead and get you a definition for what they have here is what is a silent weapon. Okay. All right. Silent weapon. So, okay. Actually, hold on a sec. We'll go back to 36. Okay, here we go. Oh, no. There it is. Okay. Description, introduction of the silent weapon. So, I mean, this whole paragraph is just tons of really good stuff. Information, like, for example, everything that's expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon. It shoots situations instead of bullets, propelled by data instead of chemicals, originating from bits of data instead of grains of powder, from a computer instead of a gun. It makes no obvious explosives, no obvious physical or mental injuries, yet it makes unmistakable noise, causing unmistakable physical and mental damage, and unmistakably interferes with daily social life, unmistakable to a trained observer. The public cannot comprehend this weapon and therefore cannot believe that they're being attacked and subdued by a weapon. The public might instinctively feel that something is wrong. This is Cooper's emphasis there. But because of the technical nature of the silent weapon, they cannot express their feeling in a rational way. Therefore, they do not know how to cry for help. When a silent weapon is applied gradually, the public adjusts to its presence and learns to tolerate its encroachment. Therefore, the silent weapon is a type of biological warfare. It attacks the vitality, options, and mobility of individuals of a society by knowing, understanding, manipulating, attacking their sources of natural and social energy in their physical, mental, and emotional strengths and weaknesses. And once again, I ask you, do you still think it's just a chance, coincidence, that when this doctor asked ChatGPT if you were evil and wanted to give people chronic illness, what would you do? And this is its response. What we experienced during COVID, for example, or perhaps what we experience day to day through our corporate environments, the type of food we eat, the type of water we have access to. Do you still think maybe this is just a coincidence? And so that said, I'll wrap this up for you guys with another staggering kind of in your face evidence of perhaps what's happening in the background, right? With these projects and these agendas. And they're talking about computers in the 1950s and how computers are perhaps limited at the time in terms of what they can do in order to enact their social engineering projects, because they need computing power in order to calculate human behavior based on different stimulus that they present a human population to, whether it be war, whether it be famine, whether it be natural disasters. But as computers got more capable faster, they were able to be more specific and accurate with their models. So how far along has their technology gotten since the 1950s? Well, I think we got a glimpse of this. And we got a glimpse of this when a certain individual in the military leaked some video footage of what happened to the Malaysian Airlines flight that disappeared in 2014. So 2014, this airline disappears, this flight Malaysian airline flight disappears, and MH370, and a person, an individual with the military, leaked these videos, and so that's his name. Apparently, he's changing his name because he's being tracked a lot, harassed, threatened, who knows what. And this journalist has been the one person that I've learned that's done apparently the most amount of research on this. So here's drone. I believe this is drone footage of the airplane as it's flying. So it's making a rapid descent because there is a lithium battery fire on board. So they're doing a rapid descent, and while it's flying, this is infrared, thermal. This is the thermal imaging. These orbs appeared next to that airplane, and pretty much disappeared that craft. There it is. It's gone. It's completely gone. And there is additional footage. There's thermal imaging of this, and all of this video footage has been analyzed. And this guy Ashton has done all the research to to study it, and he's debunked the debunkers. And he's a man that if you think this is crap, go to his channel on X and try to convince him, or try to convince take on his data and his assessments and see what, but he's talked to video experts, and now he's trying to get a hold of this guy to get his side of the story. And there was thermal imaging on this video. It's gone. I don't see it. But there was also thermal imaging, which apparently from his research is nearly, if not impossible, to manipulate in the way that it was shown in this video. And you have two different vantage points of the same event happening. So anyways, it's been compared, it's been studied, and from what he's determined, impossible. These are not fake videos, period. It's true. So in other words, it is 100% true that this airplane was disappeared from the sky by three orbs that created a field around it. And in creating this field, they teleported the plane to another point in space and time, is what they did. He interviewed a naval scientist who was able to explain to him this technology. The interview is here. That scientist's name is Salvatore Pais. He's in this, and he's got him in here, explaining to him what it is, telling him what it is or could be. So I'll leave you guys with that. Like I promised, I'll keep these posts a little shorter. Keep your fingers crossed for me. I can finish this prototype and have some more amazing news for you guys. Again, I promise to keep these posts coming at least once a week. If I make them shorter, I'll be able to do maybe more. Thanks, everybody.